Okay, I'm required to read this script, and that's what I'll do. As a preliminary matter, this is Mary Ann Easley, Chair of Council on Aging. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So please respond in the affirmative when I say your name. Allison Forsgren. She's here.
Here.
Diane Flaherty.
Here.
Vanessa Larrabee.
Here.
Kendra Lockley. Absent. Judith Perkins. Absent. Susie Spring. Absent. Linda Williams.
Here.
And myself, Mary Ann Easley. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Taylor Hilst.
Present.
Laura Stewart.
Here.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. This open meeting of the Council on Aging is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Council on Aging is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided. Members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Now, the business meeting ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comments, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom, although I don't think we have any. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Okay, that's the end of that very long introduction. Now we can go to the agenda, and I guess I failed to call the meeting to order, so I'm calling the meeting to order. And we've established a quorum. We do have the required number of people. Everyone has received a copy of the agenda, so I'd like to get approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second? A second on approval of the agenda.
Second, Allison.
I'll second.
Okay, now I'm going to call by name for people to vote to approve the agenda. Allison Forsgren,
Yes.
Diane Flaherty,
You're on mute, Diane.
okay,
Diane.
Diane.
Yes.
Vanessa Larrabee,
Yes.
Linda Williams,
Yes.
Mary Ann Easley, yes. The next thing on the agenda are approval of the minutes of the August meeting. And we're going to skip this agenda item for now. We do not have the minutes, but we will have them at the next meeting. So at the next meeting in October, we will have approval of both August and September minutes at the same time. Okay, I'm going to move on to the official business of the meeting, since we do not have any public here for comment. The first item is the Human Services update from Taylor Hilst.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. So a few things I wanted to touch on regarding human services as it relates to seniors. As you all know, we suspended the senior tax work-off program in March when offices shut down. Normally we made the decision a bit after that to suspend it through the rest of the year. So the senior tax work-off year would normally end November 30th. So it's suspended at least through that. If we were to do it for quote next year's program will begin on December 1st. Currently where we are with the phased orders per the governor is part 1 of phase 3. He has not indicated that we'll be moving forward at all until there's a vaccine or an effective treatment. So the current office capacity restrictions aren't going to adjust until we move forward. So if we do senior tax work-off this quote unquote year, it's highly unlikely that it would actually start on time, unfortunately. So more decisions to be made on that coming forward, just due to the population that it serves and the office capacity restrictions. It's not looking particularly likely, sadly. The Senior Center Committee, some of you may have been at that most recent meeting on September 11th, during which they discussed the chair, Julie Fitzgerald's draft report, and her finalized version of that went out to the members for any last comments, edits, suggestions, and they had a due date get responses back. So that report is now in its final form, and that will be submitted to the select board and updated on the website. Nat Lowell at the meeting, he doesn't think that the Senior Center Committee will get disbanded anytime soon. I'm sure more things will come up, but their report is written. So that's really exciting. And I think that the amount of interest and participation those meetings had are possibly record break for public attendance. So that was really exciting. So those were my 2 big things. We still don't have a date yet for opening for in-person services, but like I keep saying, Laura's done a fantastic job with virtual, and she'll talk more about this, but we've added drive-through events. It's under kind of consideration. Roberto and I just started talking about it today, but the possibility of doing very small in-person kind of groups, maybe on the porch, extremely small mass on socially distanced. We just started talking about that, and we'll see. Now we're going to stick with virtual and drive-through, but it's very much on our minds.
Does
Oh,
anybody,
I guess one more thing that I could mention, because I don't think it's on the agenda elsewhere. Last time when we talked about technology and tablets and things like that, I checked in with Ally about the grant funding for what our Island Home got. That funding was specific to LTC facilities. However, it came to Laura. We just got a notice from Mass COA that there is some funding available for small projects at local COAs. It's not a ton of money. I think it's under 2,000 per COA, but we do have option to apply to get funding for a quote unquote small project. So Laura and I will talk more about it. It was just issued, but there is a potential where if they accept this as a viable project, perhaps we could get a tablet or two that could be issued on kind of like a lend out basis to seniors who are interested and capable of utilizing technology, but don't actually have the technology. So more, I wish I had more to say about that today, but we just found out about it. So I can report back later.
are there any comments or questions for Taylor?
Yeah, I've got some comments. Shortly after we met, Janet Forrest, who is the president of Rotary, or she's involved with Rotary, called me and said that one of their projects this year is going to be trying to connect technology to seniors who need it. And I said, really? We've just been talking about that. So they, she was going to go before their executive board, with the suggestion, but I said that that was something that our group the Council on Aging was also talking about, and we would need help to find money for a program like that. But before we, did any outreach, we wanted to make sure that we had the, a plan. So I haven't heard back from her yet, but how would we go about working with Rotary on this?
I think that's a fantastic idea, especially if they have an idea of connecting seniors to things that they could kind of hold on to long term and not have to turn.
Right. And also they would hopefully have some outreach and ways to go, because they wanted to go out into the community and help. And so, teaching is something, I don't know how that would work or when we'd be pulling that together, but obviously the knowing how to do it is important, and they could be helpful in that vein as well. So
absolutely. I was actually scheduled to speak at Rotary in the middle of last month, but then they suspended their in-person meetings. So that might be why you haven't heard back from her yet. But I actually just talked to Janet about something else this morning, and we're in frequent communication. So I can follow up with her as well.
Great, thank you.
Would be helpful, and figure out what that kind of more of what they were thinking and what that might look like as a partnership with COA.
Great.
What is,
if the board wants me to do that.
Yes, I think that would help us in the outreach that we've been talking about. Right, everybody?
Yep.
Yes?
what is, to the board, what is Janet's last name?
Forrest.
Forrest, thank you.
EST.
So do you think at our next meeting in October, we might have more information on this and maybe talk about a way to set up a program to match needy people with the technology that they require?
Yes, put it as an agenda item, please.
And then Taylor, do you want to see if she might want to speak to join the meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, if she's made any headway or wants to talk with us together, it'd be nice. Before she brings it to the board, we should be thinking about what, our ideas, and maybe have her come. So please do ask her.
Absolutely. She wears two great hats too, being so involved with Rotary, and then she's the adult programming director for the library, and they teach Zoom classes too. So there might be a really nice way to pack a few of these kind of disparate ideas into something really sellable to our seniors. That would be awesome. Will do.
Are there any other comments or questions on this topic? Or any other topic that Taylor talked about?
I'm just a tad confused. Would it be applying to the Rotary for a grant to buy tablets, or would it be discussing to have people come to seniors' houses and show them, or a little bit of both?
I doubt that last one.
Yeah,
think
I doubt the last one for it would be more just kind of information finding on what they were thinking of doing and how could we possibly partner.
They want to reach out to people who aren't connected and with technology. So however they said that they weren't necessarily thinking of funding it 100%, but they could write grants, or that's a big interest of theirs, is to pull in people sort of outlying, because this is going to be the way to communicate for a while. They want to make sure people are supported in that. So however they can do it. They were looking for our, knowing that we know who needs help. I mean, that was their assumption, is that we would be a source of information on who could, who needed help. So
thank you, Allison.
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Great idea. And is there anybody else have any comments or questions on this?
Oh, we've been talking about it for a long time.
We have. So this seems like a step forward. And I will invite Janet to our next meeting. So thank you for that suggestion, Allison. Appreciate it. Now we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is Laura Stewart. And I hope you're feeling well enough, Laura.
So everything at the Salt Marsh is doing great. We are now Zooming all of our fitness classes. We're doing Tai Chi now also. So we are good to go with that. And just a great participants is just, it's fabulous. The drive-through was great. The first one we had about 20 people. The second one we had 46. And it was fabulous.
And that's all for the ice cream?
Yep.
Wow.
For an ice cream. They were just so excited to have,
Human
1 o'clock
contact.
to look forward to get out of the house, a reason to get out of the house. Just,
Wow.
and to see everybody, a lot of people parked their car, and 2 ladies went over to the beach, and some people took it home with them, but it was nice just to see people we haven't seen, catch up with them, touch base. So we're doing it for 2 more weeks till we run out of ice cream. And thinking, I've been talking with Kendra, it's too bad she's not here today, about moving forward to when the weather is not ice cream suitable, and maybe to go do something for a drive-through, like coffee and a muffin.
Hot chocolate, whatever.
Or hot chocolate, something, we have to do everything that's pre-packaged, made by somebody, other than your grandmother. So Kendra offered to do that in her kitchen, because she has a great huge kitchen where she stored all of our ice cream also. So she offered to make some muffins or croissants or whatever, and we would just get a box of Joe. So the coffee would be made from someplace else, and people would just take the creamer and the sugar and the muffin and either sit in the parking lot or take it home. But so that was a thought. And then maybe after that, move into, a soup and a roll, something that people can come pick up and take home for dinner. So I've been talking with her about it. She's happy to do it. She wanted to know kind of a budget, so COA could ask NCEA to front that, which I'm sure they will. And I'm happy to email Joe before NCEA. Anything under $500, he can kind of make a decision on. And so just wanted to see what everybody else's thoughts were about that. If COA is interested in doing the kind of same thing, but just switching it up with something new and different.
Here's a question for you. Would
Yeah.
it would it be a good idea to go to some of the restaurants that are thriving, like Island Kitchen, and Sea Grill, to see if they wanted to sponsor the once a month whatever food giveaway we come up with, as opposed to putting it all on Kendra? Because they're not doing anything else for us, because we're not doing the dinners, we're not doing the men's breakfast. Would it make sense to ask some of these guys to see if they want to do this drive-by thing, provide us with the food?
That's up to you guys. I was thinking no, just because everybody's hurting, but maybe you know different stories about different restaurants. And I'm not the one asking anyways. That would, COA would have to ask NCOA or have to ask NCEA to do that.
Sort of.
And so who asked about for the dinners that were being served at the Salt Marsh that were so popular?
I sort of did, Laura
Other
did,
people did.
we
But I
did.
thought you weren't supposed to do that.
Well, it's sort of a flyby conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be NCEA.
Yeah, or I would just bring it up to like somebody in the blue and they'd be like, oh, I know so-and-so who runs so-and-so, I'll ask them. So I said,
Yeah,
okay, have them get in touch with me. And then as long as the outreach is from somebody else,
Mhm.
that's the way it's worked.
Yeah, there
Unlike-
really can't be any direct solicitation. So if we want, Kendra is being reimbursed, correct? But
Yes, that's why we need a budget.
Paid
at NCEA.
paid her fee. So maybe what we could do is ask NCEA, what their thoughts are on that. Would they like to do some direct solicitation to get sponsorship, and or is it their preference to reimburse?
Yeah, that is the rule, but some of us have contacts that other ones don't. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think to take the temperature for restaurants, who doesn't want to, help seniors, number one. Number two, it's probably not a big number that we're talking. People will have to sign up for
Very
it and then
specific people.
swing by and pick it up. I think that,
We weren't have people signing up. We were just doing a drive-through, show up.
Yeah,
and so,
That would be too crazy.
what if they did 15 soups or 15 whatevers and 20 people came? Or what if they did?
And I would, well,
we would just get the big containers that have them, and then we'd fill them.
yeah,
All right, just,
I don't know. I was thinking more, whatever, if it's a soup, it's something that we can keep in the refrigerator for another week or freeze it, or we could just limit it and say, but that might be, and what if they show up and there isn't one? At least they're out of the house and we just say, day late and $1 short, but nice to see you.
Your first next time, kind of like what we did with the meal delivery. If we ask over capacity, you will make sure that we save one for you next time. Please, come a little early, and we'll make sure to ensure that you're taken care of. But that only happened, a couple
Yeah, and we could just limit it at a certain amount.
And as the weather gets more funky here, it'll be probably less people doing it, so.
I don't think we have enough seniors that we can save even one restaurant. It won't be enough business to make a dent in what they're losing.
So that's completely up to you guys, what you would like to, how you would like to attack that, if you want to.
Does somebody want to make a motion and then we'll have more discussion on this?
I think I'll make a motion that we continue with the program in whatever form it takes over the next couple of months.
Do I have a second to the motion?
does that mean asking NCEA to ask restaurants if they want to participate in our drive-through program, or?
And they can ask me to do it for them if they want, type of thing, as a private citizen.
Is that what we want to do? Is do we want to ask
yeah.
NCEA?
I think that might have the appearance of COA, directly soliciting, even if it is you as Linda, not as Linda COA doing it. It would be nice if Kendra was here. Maybe we could talk with her, in knowing her interest in continuing to do it the way she has been, And
I
then,
did text both she and Jude and haven't heard back.
What did you say, Allison?
I texted both Kendra and Jude and didn't hear back from them.
But I think that Laura has already been talking to Kendra, so Kendra's aware of this idea.
And she is happy to do the muffin thing. She basically wanted to know what COA, what we wanted for a budget to ask CEA for.
maybe we could get a motion specifically on that, and then a separate motion on, you know, the option that in the future we might ask NCAA for help with approaching restaurants for either sponsorship or just being paid to participate, if we want to keep those separate.
I think we
So
have a
can I
motion
get a
on
motion?
the table. Wait a minute.
There's a
Wait a minute.
motion made here, but I have
Well,
motion to continue with program is the only thing that's on that motion.
Can we amend that to just coffee and a muffin or something like that?
Whatever, as I said in the
Step one.
motion, whatever form it takes.
Step 1, coffee and a muffin.
Fine. Coffee, hot chocolate muffin. Don't
Right.
limit it to coffee.
Is there a second to this?
Well, the
motion?
person who amended, who seconded my motion to begin with has to also agree to the amendment. Then you can keep going.
Right, so what has it been amended to, please? To
That it be-
continue with program,
Yeah.
ice cream, then muffins, I mean. no,
When it
we're
gets
gonna
too cold for
continue.
ice cream and we run out of ice cream, we're going to the coffee, hot chocolate.
Okay.
muffin.
All right. So, okay, thank you for letting me interrupt.
Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second.
Who was that?
Diane,
I am.
Diane, all right. Okay, so we take a vote. I'm going to go down the list again. Allison,
Yes.
Diane,
yes.
Vanessa,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Mary Ann, yes.
I hate Zoom. Did I say that already?
Don't we all? Welcome to the large club.
This is my second one today and it's just like, I'm over it.
Laura, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
Well, so how are we going to bring this to NCEA? Do you want me to just email Joe and say, this is what we're thinking?
Yeah.
Would you
That's
cover
the
it?
easiest way? Is that the
Well,
easiest?
I
Either
can
you
get it
or
on the
I.
agenda, and if it's less than $500, Joe can kind of, I think it's this way. Don't you, Taylor?
I think there is some unrestricted funding that's totally at his discretion, though I think we do meet again. NCAA does meet again before this would start because we have the funding for tomorrow, this week and next week, correct?
Yes.
And then we meet again. So in theory, it could wait, but I think it's a good idea to give him a heads up.
Just so it's on his agenda and it's not something that I'm going to bring up in my report.
Exactly. So
So
that
it's
he's
a heads
had to formulate his thoughts on it. And then does COA want to come up with a budgetary ask? Like, oh, we think, $300 to fund 2 coffee and muffins or however much. I just made that number up, or leave it up to them.
Laura, can you get an estimate from Kendra about what it would cost to do coffee and a muffin or hot chocolate as well?
I can. We were just going to get the coffee, box of Joe, so she doesn't need to do that. And I haven't figured out the hot chocolate part yet, but yeah, I can do that. And then you want me just to bring that estimate to Joe?
That sounds like the easiest way.
Okay. Great.
If that's okay with you.
That's fine. And I think it's the fastest way to get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Great. I will do that.
Any other comments or questions for Laura?
Get down.
So I'll give you a little heads up about Halloween.
Yeah.
Maybe
What's
all the
happening?
COA members want to dress up and come down and give out candy at a drive-through.
Oh,
Fun. Oh, look at Taylor. She's going to come down.
Laura, that is such a good idea.
I mean,
Have they
Ginny and I will
decided,
definitely do it, but if more people are there, it's just, more- you can't have too many people,
Have
but,
they decided that they were not going to do the downtown Halloween yet? Or have
oh,
they,
I don't know.
are they still undecided on that one?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
That is a very good question. I will check in with culture and tourism. To be honest, Halloween has not been on my radar. I haven't even thought about it, but I will find out and get back to you guys. I would guess yes, but I don't know for sure. Or is that chamber?
that would be chamber.
I would
I'll
definitely
check in.
know.
I'm nearly positive. Diane, you don't happen to know, do you?
I do not. I do not.
I will find.
And also the
Go.
I can't imagine that they would even be allowed to. I think it's very safe to say that it's canceled, but that doesn't mean that.
Well, they said that Stroll was happening. They said Stroll was happening. I was just shocked when Stroll was going to happen. I don't know what form it's going to take, but Stroll is going. So we got to ask Christy about this. Somebody has an in with Christy on the board, I assume.
I'll ask her. Also, may I ask one quick question, Taylor? Who wanted to dress up and come down? I did not hear the beginning of your conversation. Who wanted to dress up and
Laura
and
asked if any COA members would like to assist her and Ginny in handing out candy and kind of a drive-by candy pickup.
I have to answer this call. I said I would, this is my father's nursing home. I would dress up. Hello?
And we have another meeting in October before Halloween, so I think we have plenty of time to
You have to get your costume
work out
ready.
the details.
The
I
one
wear
day
a
of the week
costume
that
every
masks
day,
don't
so-
seem weird.
It would be fun if everybody was just down there waving and,
It would be fun.
it would make it fun for everybody. So that's it. Any questions? We're good?
Okay, thanks, Laura. That was
You're
great.
welcome.
Next on our agenda is Allison to give us a summary of what went on with the Alzheimer's Zoom webinar.
I think there were over 200 participants, push come to shove. And I wanted to ask both Laura and Taylor if there's any way. So Laura, you put it out on your constant contact, right?
Yes, I did.
So is there any way for you to tell who responded, or, I guess there was more than one thing on the constant contact, so you can't see how many people clicked on whatever button, or can you?
I can.
Yeah, I mean, if you can see if there were any clicks on any of that stuff from your multiple messages, that would be great. And Taylor, do you have any way to check to see if there were clicks on yours?
I will have to ask the town social media and website manager if how much went through there. I will find out.
And then I'll do the same for my lists. But it was well attended. There was a technical issue because what they did was they showed. Did anyone watch it all the way through? What did you guys think about it? I'm curious.
I thought it was incredible.
It was a first-class job, but most of it was over my head, information-wise. So if I had known somebody with Alzheimer's and had to deal with it, I probably would have understood a lot more. But
it was definitely
a new subject for me.
definitely technical, but it was really good information.
Yes, sure.
And the little glitch with the Glenn Campbell movie part was unfortunate, but they were really happy with our participation, with the number of people that were together. We had a wrap-up meeting. I expected that I would have the link to share because maybe, Laura, you can put it on the website for people people were in touch with me saying, I can't make it that night. Will it happen again? So I think for us to make the link to the whole thing available will allow us to share it with people who didn't know or weren't able to attend. But
Yeah, because I couldn't attend at the last minute, and I'd love to see it.
yeah, so it'll be really interesting. So they were thrilled. I don't know, I'm sure that there's going to be some kind of follow-up stuff that I'll share with you. But it was sort of a first for Cure Alzheimer's in that format, and they were really pleased and are going to do more of it. So it was wonderful that and a lot of people from my lists and people that I know who are probably on on Laura's list. We had some great people sign up, so very happy with that.
And
We
the
should do
caliber
more.
of the speaker was, I mean, he was incredible. So we would never have had access to somebody of that caliber without you having done this.
Yeah, well, it's Cure Alzheimer's that did it, and hopefully they will be getting, they wanted, they were hoping for some heavy hitters to step up and donate and contribute. So I hope that happened for them. I know they aren't expecting that from the people that we invited necessarily, but we'll see. So,
May I ask a question?
Yep.
Did you say that that Taylor could provide a link? Because I really wanted to listen to that, and I was not able to be there that Wednesday.
Yeah, no, so there's going to be a follow-up with people who RSVP'd and attended the event, and maybe even people who RSVP'd and didn't attend the event, because they can tell on their side who, they have the list of everyone who registered, and then they can tell who watched it. And almost 100% of the participants who watched it stayed for the first hour. They were blown away by the fact that so many people did. But yes, Diane, there'll be a link, and it will be made available to the COA and the Salt Marsh and everybody.
Okay.
Taylor.
Allison, do you think that they would give us permissions for us to post it on like the Salt Marsh Facebook, for example, for anyone to have access to?
I'm pretty sure they were a little, and I think that they want to edit out some of the technical difficulties before they put it up as their big thing, and probably also have a little bit more of the, or mention the donate, or maybe even mention the number of people who participated. I mean, they're working on it now, and I thought I'd have the link by today, but I don't. So.
Well, we will certainly get it up when you do, and I think that they and you did a fantastic job bringing everybody together to support it. It was really awesome.
And then the Phyllis Rappaport show on Frank and Mary, because she was really good.
That was great.
Yeah,
She was a good interview. Yeah, you did a great job with her.
yeah, and she was really, she was super thrilled with that. So I think Nantucket came out smelling like a rose in this particular situation. So I thank everyone for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
You're welcome.
And it all started with one email, so you really picked it up.
Yep. Well, Marguerite's a pretty interesting lady too. So
Yeah.
new meets for me, which is great.
Good. Any other questions for Allison or comments?
We need to do more of that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Laura and Taylor, if you could get to me any clicks or how many opens there were or whatever for this with your efforts, that would be great.
Definitely.
Thank you, Allison. Will do.
Welcome. Thank you.
On to our last subject of the day, which is flu shots for seniors. And I'm gonna let you take this over, Taylor, since I've gotten zero feedback from the hospital, so it's all yours.
Well, happy to report that since I'm physically located within the health department, I find out a lot of things that I don't necessarily knew I needed to know, but I'm glad I know. So I talked to Roberto about this today, and he let me know that the vaccines have been ordered and that the hospital will be putting out information on administration distribution flu clinics for people of all ages within the next week or so. So the hospital's messaging around when, where, how, what it's going to look like to get a flu shot this year is coming out very soon. And perhaps COA could help spread the word when we get all of that info, including it in constant contact, maybe even just its own separate thing that's title is flu shots. And, our encouragement to go ahead and get them. So the information from the hospital will be out very soon. And I think we should share it early and often.
Just so
Are
you
you
know,
getting any inquiries already from people about flu shots? Are people asking, are flu shots going to be available through Salt Marsh?
Nope, not yet, but I'm
Oh,
sure
okay.
it's coming up soon.
I also asked Dan's Pharmacy the other day, and they ordered it like 2 months ago, and they still do not have it.
And the other question that people always have is this the super dose that supposedly seniors have to get? That will be
Have to
another
get.
question.
I believe
Yeah.
the hospital put out some information that they're going to do like extra flu shot clinics. I don't know if we should really investigate that.
I haven't seen anything from the hospital. Where have you seen this? Vanessa? Hello?
Vanessa, you're still muted.
Sorry. I have to check. I just thought that they would do more during the fact that they don't have the extra, I don't know, like I guess maybe what I'm trying to say is I guess maybe we should approach the hospital and see if they could do a clinic just for seniors.
Well, I've already approached the hospital. Apparently, they just had their meeting on this whole subject of flu shots in the last few days. So I've reached out to Courtney O'Neill there, suggesting maybe something special for seniors, and that the Council on Aging would be happy to do anything we can to promote flu shots for seniors and make it comfortable for seniors to come and get them.
As
So,
soon as possible.
yeah, as well. I don't know. They'll have to do it on whatever schedule is available to them. I don't think we can rush them.
And
Dan
so-
seemed to indicate that there was a preference for those of us in our age group.
So I had an appointment at the hospital, and Courtney was going in as I was going out, and she said, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." And it was regarding a virtual expo or something. She's going to be wrapping up some big project that they're working on, and is looking, last year at this time we were planning the expo, and she wondered whether any of us would be interested in talking with them about doing a virtual expo and perhaps this flu shot business could tie into it. But they did a great job towing the line last year. I'm wondering if we want to encourage them to include us in their planning for whatever it is we can pull together.
I was just going to ask about that. That's encouraging that we can do a virtual.
Yeah, and maybe we could play this Alzheimer's video, or get some promotion from the hospital about that and flu shots and whatever else we think is necessary. Should I get back to her and say yes, let's collaborate?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And so Taylor, you were going to talk to Janet, so I don't have to deal with the Rotary thing, right?
Yes, I will talk to Janet.
Great.
Any other comments or questions on the subject of flu shots? Great. Well, that's the end of our agenda. I've left this little asterisk for other business just in case, but anything else on anybody's mind that could come under that category that the town would allow us to talk about?
Any update on Our Island Home?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for saying that. I should have spoken on that when I was giving my human services update. Yes, absolutely. You will be hearing more about this very soon. We have recently been doing some kind of facilitated discussions, just kind of trying to recapture the kind of breadth of what has happened in an effort for a new Our Island home over the past, 5 or so years, and kind of talking about what are best possible future options for Our Island homes in various stakeholder opinions. So we had administration had a facilitated discussion, and I am actually in the process of organizing further facilitated discussions with various stakeholder groups. For example, residents, Our Island home staff, Our Island home families. I have the days and times locked down, but I have not sent out invitations yet.
Did I miss something, Taylor? Did I miss a meeting already?
No, I emailed you back.
Okay.
You did not miss
Okay.
You did not miss any meeting. I have not sent the link for that one yet, for any of them yet. I'm still finalizing all of the contact information. One of the meetings that we will be doing will be with kind of community stakeholder groups, which of course the Council on Aging is very much a community stakeholder. So you can expect to hear more directly from me on participating in a facilitated discussion about possible future options for our island home. So that's kind of where we are at now. As you all know, the override was taken off the warrant for annual town meeting for this past year, but because it was already on the ballot, it did pass there, though it wasn't actually on ATM, but it did show the interest from the community in Our Island home. It was a surprisingly positive vote. So that's where we are now, and I will email all of you with that information for the community stakeholder meeting.
Great, thank you. Any update on this, the Saltmarsh Senior Center?
I touched on that earlier, just that they have completed their draft report, and that's what they talked about at their last meeting on the 11th. And it was circulated to all of the members for any last final comments, thoughts, suggestions, and will be submitted to the select board.
And so I think was it the paper I read that the Saltmarsh and the Island Home were supposed to move out together to Sherburne Commons? Is that, did anyone else get that feeling?
No, that wasn't it at all.
Okay, good.
I didn't see that anywhere.
Okay, good. I thought I saw Our Island Home and Senior Center joined somewhere.
Well, one of the discussions, and I think part of the proposal, is for the Island Home to move to Sherburne and the Senior Center to move to the Island Home location.
That was my idea 2 years ago that I brought up. I don't know what happened to that idea.
It has legs.
Well, it needs to have legs.
I will circulate that final draft report to you guys too, so that you can all read.
Geez, I can't believe they're circling back to that again.
It's pretty much the same as what is currently on the website with a few minor adjustments, but I'll send you guys all the final one as well.
If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good. And I'm going to go down the list for everybody to vote. Allison?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Marianne, yes. Thank you, everybody.
Good job.
Yeah.
It wasn't so bad. This was a lot easier than my Zoom meeting this morning with the Government Study Committee.